Alright guys, what's going on? We are doing a motor plate on the 2-valve today. So I've already got it mocked up right here. Just got the bolts in it, they're just loose right now. But I got both the driver and passenger side done. We're gonna have to trim back a little bit right here on the driver's side, just so it'll be flush, just like this side is. Might have to do a little trimming down here. I haven't really looked at that yet. And then we'll make some spacers for the bolts on the back side of the motor plate, and then we'll have to weld it to the tube front end with these brackets that they gave me right here from Team Z. But we'll go ahead and get under the car and I'll show you. All right, so as you can see right there, the crank trigger sensor's in the way. But that's why we're gonna have to make some spacers for this bottom bolt right here, and then that bolt right there. And then on the top one, we'll trim back a little bit on the top of the motor plate, so that way it's flush. Because if you look over here on this side, see the top up there is flush, and then where it ain't got no bolt in it, and that one right there, that one's gonna need a spacer, and then right here, it's gonna need a spacer also. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it marked up and go ahead and take the motor plate back off, and then we'll trim those sides like I said. But I'm gonna go ahead and get a marker and we'll go ahead and go under there and start marking it. Alright, so we got the driver's side of the motor plate off and the passenger side. Passenger side's marked up where it needs to be trimmed on the timing chain cover right there. So I'm gonna go ahead and get that trimmed up, and then we'll stick it back on there and see if we need to trim any more. Alright guys, so we got it trimmed up. We're gonna have to do a little bit more because as you can see right there, it is not lined up with the holes. So we're gonna have to trim back a little bit more right here. But this side, I think we're just gonna leave alone because that's fine. But we'll trim that side back a little bit more. We'll get back on here and see if it fits. Alright, so we got the motor plate trimmed on that side, and the bolts are run snug on both sides. I got my little piece of aluminum pipe right here. I already went ahead and marked it for this bottom bolt down here, right there. And then, so we'll go ahead and get these cut, and I'll be back with y'all with some spacers in a little bit. I went ahead and got the first spacer cut and just brought it down here just to get the fitment on it and see how it looked. It's gonna work out pretty well. As you can see, it's right there. But I'm gonna go ahead and run that in that bolt right there, and most likely the top one also. And then also on the bottom, and then the second bolt up on the driver's side. We got all of our spacers in. That's the one I showed y'all earlier. Went ahead and got 2 more for the middle and the top bolt. It's pretty straight. And now it's ready to be welded on this side to the tube front end. We're probably not going to get that done today though, because still got to do this side. I still got to cut 2 more spacers, one for right here and one for the bottom, and then the whole front will be ready to be welded to the tube front end on both sides. But we're kind of running out of daylight, and probably just get it mocked up today and all the bolts tightened down, and we'll worry about welding it on a later date. But it's almost done. Get them 2 more spacers cut out of that pipe that I showed y'all from earlier, and the motor plate will pretty much be done. Motor plate is done. Well, not done, but it's all tightened up. All the bolts are tight. All the spacers are cut. Still got to weld those tabs to the tubular front end right here and get it bolted up right there. But other than just welding those tabs on, the motor plate is done.